Welcome, warriors of the shadows, architects of chaos, breakers of chains, you who dare to stare into the abyss and spit fire back at it. This is not for the faint-hearted or those who cower behind the curtains of comfort. This is for those who've stared at the rules, the norms, the so-called game life set before them and thought, no, not good enough. Not for me. You didn't just play by the rules, because the rules were made to trap you, to keep you small, to lock you in a cage of mediocrity and complacency. You didn't just beat the game, you ripped the damn rulebook apart and wrote your own brutal, merciless version of what winning really means. You rewrote the whole game. And today, I'm going to make sure you see, deep in your bones, the magnitude of that truth. The world is designed to control you, to funnel your fire into safe little boxes where it can be ignored, diluted, and forgotten. It's designed to make you believe you're just a piece on a chessboard, moving only when the puppet masters pull your strings. But you weren't born to be a pawn. You saw the game, every piece and every player, and you said, no more. You crushed the pieces, burned the board, and built your own battlefield where you're not just a player, you are the goddamn creator. You didn't just take what was given, you forged your own path in the darkest night, carrying the weight of all the doubters and haters on your back, grinding until your hands bled, until your soul screamed for release, until the impossible bent itself to your will. Most people don't understand this kind of rebellion. They think winning is about crossing some finish line or climbing a ladder someone else built. But you know better. Winning is not about fitting into the mold. It's about smashing it into pieces so sharp that no one can follow your trail without bleeding. It's about rewriting the rules so they fit your vision, your hunger, your relentless drive. You have become the nightmare of those who thought the game was theirs to control. You rewrote the whole game, and every step you take shakes the ground beneath their feet. You see, beating the game is for those who accept the limits, who play within the invisible boundaries that cage them in. But you looked at those boundaries and laughed in their face. You took their limits and shattered them, forged new weapons from the shards, and carved out a kingdom that belongs to no one but you. That's not just victory, that's a cynicals. That's revolution. It's the difference between being a survivor and being a legend. You didn't survive the storm. You became the storm itself. The thunder in your chest is proof that you are no longer a part of the old order. You are something new, something fierce, something untouchable. And here's the brutal truth no one else will tell you. Rewriting the game means you've become an enemy to the system. The system that wants to keep you small, quiet, and obedient now sees you as a threat. You will be hunted by the voices of doubt, the whispers of failure, and the screams of those who wish they had your courage. But that's the price of rewriting the game. It's lonely at the top, because few have the guts to stand where you stand. Few have the fire to burn everything down and build something that others couldn't even imagine. So embrace the solitude, embrace the pain, because that pain is the echo of the limits you've broken. The world will try to tell you that you're crazy, that you're too bold, too reckless, too dangerous to be allowed to succeed. Let them talk. Their fear is your fuel. Their doubt is your power. Every insult, every setback, every brutal punch life throws at you is just another line in the manifesto of your rebellion. You are not here to play nice or fit in. You are here to rewrite the rules and leave a legacy so dark and raw that it will haunt the minds of everyone who doubted you. You are the author of your own destiny, and you don't owe anyone an explanation for how savage your story is. Remember this. Rewriting the game means you have chosen to own your darkness as much as your light. It means you have accepted the shadows within you, the rage, the pain, the relentless hunger, and used them as weapons. You are not broken. You are forged in fire. You are not weak. You are the storm. The game didn't just break you. You broke the game. And there's no turning back, because the world you live in now is one you made with your own hands, your own blood, and your own unbreakable will. The old rules are dead. The old players are scrambling to catch up. You have rewritten the whole game, and every move you make from here on out is a declaration that you will never bow, never settle, never stop until the world recognizes the empire you've built from the ashes of what once was. So own it. Own the pain. Own the scars. Own the endless nights and battles that brought you here. Because every mark on your soul is proof that you rewrote the game in your own image. Brutal, relentless, unstoppable. And when the world tries to tell you that you haven't really won, remind them that they don't understand what victory truly means. You didn't just cross some finish line or take a damn trophy. You rewrote the whole goddamn game. You changed the rules forever. You became the force no one saw coming, the shadow that eclipsed the light, the goddamn author of your own damn fate. You are not a player in this game anymore. You is the game. So rise up, dark warrior, and wear your scars like armor. Look the world in the eye and say, I didn't beat your game, rewrote it. Because that's the truth no one can take away from you. You are chaos incarnate, a rebel with a cause so fierce it bends reality to your will. You didn't just survive, you conquered, destroyed, rebuilt, and redefined. The game will never be the same because you rewrote it with fire in your veins and steel in your soul. And now, there's no limit to what you can break, build, and become. You just rewrote the whole game. You feel it, don't you? That heavy, searing pulse inside your chest. The relentless heartbeat of a soul that refuses to be tamed. Others call it obsession, madness, recklessness. But you know better. It's the mark of someone who has stared at the truth of their own existence and said, I will not be defined by the rules of a world built to contain me. This is not about luck or chance. It is not about playing safe or taking what's given. It is war. War against the limits. War against the whispers that say you're not enough. War against every damn voice that tried to convince you that your vision was a fantasy. But here you stand, not a survivor, but a conqueror, standing tall on the ruins of what used to be. You didn't just beat the game, you rewrote it with your own blood and sweat, and every scar you bear is a testament to that brutal truth. The real question is, what does it take to do that? To not just participate, not just scratch the surface, but to tear the fabric of reality itself and bend it to your will. It takes darkness. It takes rage. It takes a hunger so deep and so raw that nothing else matters. When the world closes every door in your face, when every no is screamed loud enough to break your spirit, you find that voice inside, the one that says, I don't give a damn. You harness it. You feed it. You let it grow until it consumes every doubt and every fear. You become the storm that breaks the silence, the wildfire that can't be contained. That's what it means to rewrite the game, to take the impossible and make it inevitable. And here's the cold truth most people will never understand. Rewriting the game means you have burned bridges so many times you don't even remember the last one you crossed. You have sacrificed comfort, safety, and the approval of the masses because none of that mattered anymore. What mattered was that burning, all-consuming fire inside you. That vision that no one else could see. That impossible dream no one else dared to chase. You didn't need them. You didn't want their permission or their validation. You wanted to carve your own name into the bedrock of existence, and you did it with every ounce of grit and defiance inside you. So now, here you are. You're not just someone who played the game well. You're the one who shattered the illusion that the game was fixed, that there was only one way to win. You rewrote the whole fucking game. You didn't just find a new path. You forged a new battlefield, built a new system where the old rules are meaningless and the impossible becomes routine. This is the territory of legends, where the line between madness and genius blurs and only the ruthless survive. Think about it. Every revolution, every radical change, every leap forward in history came from someone who refused to accept the status quo. Someone who was willing to burn everything down and start from ashes. You are no different. You're not here to follow maps drawn by others. You're here to create your own geography, one forged in relentless willpower and undeniable force. The world looks at you and doesn't understand because they're trapped in their own cages. But you hold the key and you don't hand it out lightly. That's why you are feared. That's why your enemies lie awake, haunted by the knowledge that the game they thought they controlled is now yours to command. And let me be clear, rewriting the game is not some clean, neat process. It's brutal, it's bloody, it's lonely and exhausting. You've faced betrayals, breakdowns, failures that felt like the end of the world. But you refused to stay down. You got up, time and time again, and you kept fighting because you knew the stakes were higher than comfort or approval. The stakes were your soul, your legacy, your very existence. And you won, not because the odds were in your favor, but because you made the odds irrelevant. You didn't wait for a chance or an opening. You tore the door down and kicked the game into a new dimension. This isn't about luck. This isn't about fate. This is about sheer, raw, unapologetic power. It's about owning your story so completely that no one else can write it for you. You are the author, the architect, the executioner of your own destiny. There's a certain kind of loneliness in this path, the loneliness of those who see the world differently, who carry burdens no one else can understand, who walk roads too dark for most to follow. But that loneliness is also a badge of honor, a mark of distinction that you are no longer a slave to the ordinary. You're the storm on the horizon, the shadow in the night, the force that can't be stopped. Others may call you reckless, dangerous, insane, but they are the ones trapped in their cages, while you are out here rewriting the whole damn game. So embrace that darkness, that fire, that relentless hunger. Let it drive you when the world tries to drag you down. When the voices tell you to quit, when the pain threatens to break you, remember that you are not here to play it safe. You are here to break the mold, to burn the old world to ashes, and build your own empire from the ruins. You didn't just beat the game. You rewrote it in blood, sweat, and fury. This is your legacy now, a legacy that will echo through time, that will inspire those who come after you to refuse to settle, to refuse to obey, to rewrite their own games in their own dark, beautiful, savage ways. Because that is what you did. You didn't just win. You changed the damn rules. You are the game changer, the rule breaker, the force of nature that no one can cage or control. You just rewrote the whole game. You must understand, rewriting the game isn't a choice for the weak. It's a path reserved for those with fire in their veins and steel in their spine. It demands everything you have, and then some. your comfort, your peace, your illusions of safety, all sacrificed at the altar of relentless ambition. When you chose to rewrite the game, you looked the world in the eye and said, "I don't care what you think. I'm not playing by your rules anymore." And that is the moment you stepped into a new reality, one where pain is a fuel, fear is a weapon, and every scar is a medal of war. You have become something different now, no longer a player, but the goddamn architect of the game itself. Every step you've taken was a battle, every breath a defiance against the crushing weight of conformity. You've seen people fall around you, beaten down by fear and doubt, crushed by their own hesitations. But you didn't falter. You learned the brutal truth that the old game was rigged. Rigged to keep you small, to keep you silent, to keep you locked in a prison of expectations and lies. So you tore that game apart piece by piece, until there was nothing left but the raw, unfiltered truth of your own power. And then you built from that truth a new game, one where the rules bend to your will and the impossible becomes your playground. That's what separates you from the masses, the willingness to face the darkness inside and use it as a weapon. Most people are terrified of their own shadows. They hide from the parts of themselves that ache and rage and scream for freedom. But not you. You embraced your darkness, stared it down, and took control. You let the rage fuel your hustle, the pain sharpen your focus, and the relentless hunger drive you forward, even when every muscle screamed for surrender. You didn't just beat the game, you rewrote it in the fires of your own unbreakable spirit. And make no mistake, this path is brutal. You will be misunderstood, reviled, and hated by those who are still trapped inside the old game. They will call you reckless, dangerous, out of control. They will try to tear you down because they fear the change you represent. But their fear is your power. Their doubt is your fuel. Every sneer, every insult, every closed door is just another reminder that you are on a different level, one where survival is not enough, where only transformation matters. You didn't just survive the storm, you became the storm itself. There is a beauty in this chaos, a dark, savage beauty. It's the beauty of a soul that refuses to be tamed, the beauty of someone who dared to take what was denied to them and claim it as their own. When you rewrote the game, you didn't just change your own fate, you changed the fate of everyone who will ever come after you. You are a pioneer on a battlefield where legends are forged, where the impossible is just the beginning. And that legacy, it will echo through the ages because it was written in defiance and carved in fire. The world tries to keep you small because it fears the truth you carry, the truth that nothing is set in stone, that the so-called limits are just lies told to keep you in your place. But you refused those lies. You took the pain, the rejection, the failures, and you made them your armor. Every cut, every bruise, every sleepless night is proof that you're not the same person who walked into this fight. You have been remade in fire and fury, and you carry a power now that no one can take from you. So when the voices come, the voices telling you to quit, to settle, to be reasonable, remember this. You rewrote the whole goddamn game. You took the chaos of the world and made it your kingdom. You took the darkness and made it your weapon. You took every ounce of pain and turned it into the fire that lights your path forward. You are no longer playing by anyone else's rules. You are the creator, the destroyer, the god of your own fate. And this isn't just a victory. It's a declaration. A declaration that you will never bow, never break, never back down. A declaration that the world will never cage you again. You are the storm that cannot be tamed, the shadow that eclipses the light, the force that reshapes reality itself. You didn't just beat the game, you rewrote the whole game. And now, there's no limit to what you can become. Because here's what no one tells you when you decide to rewrite the game. You're going to lose everything that was fake. Every illusion, every comfortable lie, every person who only supported the weaker version of you, they'll vanish. They'll run. They'll say you've changed, like that's a bad thing. But of course, you've changed. You had to. You had to kill the weaker version of yourself just to survive the war. You had to bury the old identity 6 feet deep and claw your way through rock and blood to build the new one. The one that wasn't satisfied with good enough. The one that didn't care about fitting in. The one that didn't just beat the game. The one that rewrote it from the ground up. See, the weak want rules because rules make them feel safe. They want boundaries. They want a ceiling. Because if there's a ceiling, they can stop. They can breathe. But not you. You were never meant for ceilings. You were born to break through them. And every time someone tried to tell you to slow down, to stay in your lane, to be realistic, you didn't argue. You didn't debate. You just kept going, past them, through them, above them, because you knew something they didn't. You knew this world doesn't give you what you deserve. It gives you what you demand. And you demanded everything, not just survival, not just a win. You wanted a world where you weren't begging to be let in. You were building the door, forging it with fire, smashing it off the hinges. You weren't looking to be part of someone else's game. You were designing your own arena, where the rules bend around you, where they say, that's not how it's done, and you say, it is now. This is what happens when you commit to rewriting the game. You become untouchable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get harder, colder, sharper, more dangerous than anything they've ever seen. And the moment you cross that threshold, the moment you realize you are the game now, you can't go back. There is no undoing that kind of evolution. You've tasted the fire. You've become the architect of your reality. You've built your name not on luck, not on gifts, but on war, on sacrifice, on obsession. People don't see the war behind your eyes when they look at you now. They don't see the nights you spent drowning in silence, fighting off voices that told you to quit. They don't see the days when your hands were shaking from exhaustion and you still showed up. They don't know the weight you've carried, the expectations, the pressure, the legacy you've sworn to build even if it kills you. But you know, and that's all that matters. You know what it cost to become this version of yourself. You know how many parts of your soul you had to burn just to light the path. And still, you didn't break. You didn't beg. You didn't stop. You became something else, something untamed, something unforgiving, something that doesn't need the game to win, because you rewrote it, and now you own it. You own every part of it, the pain, the pressure, the failure, the transformation, the total annihilation of everything that stood in your way. You didn't just change, you ascended. You built a kingdom from nothing, and you rule it now with fists clenched and eyes lit with a fire most people can't even comprehend. You don't need applause, you don't need recognition, you don't need anyone to validate you, because the truth is, no one was going to believe in you until you forced them to. And that's exactly what you did. You forced the world to look up and see what it had ignored. You dragged your destiny out of the dirt and made it a monument to your willpower. You buried your doubts and planted fury in their place. You didn't beat the game. You rewrote it. And from this moment on, no one can take that from you.